Hey guys, welcome to Joe Hendricks Photography. Today I'm going to answer a question from Kenneth Quinn. He wrote me last night on Instagram, and you can ask me pretty much any way you want a question and I will try to get to it. But his question says, hey, what's up bro? Two questions. Is the D750 better than the D4? And if I was to upgrade, which one should I go for? The Nikon D4 or the D810? I would appreciate your help. So Kenneth, I went ahead and I checked out your blog, and just to kind of get a little background of what you do, and I see that you're into fashion, and pretty cool blog. I looked through it, looks really nice, and I also noticed that you're in college. I don't know if you still are or if that's what it says on the blog, but what I will say straight up before I get into this whole video is D750, because I just sold my D4 to get a D750. I'm a wedding photographer. Now, the reason that I did it is because the low light capabilities are great, 24 megapixels are awesome, and truth be told, it's not the camera that makes somebody a better photographer, but the camera is a tool that helps you to be more creative. And if a camera can help you expand the possibilities of what you could do a little bit more, then it's worth it to go with that camera. The D750 for me helps in a lot of ways, and I'm going to go over some of those with me right here. And one of those is it's lighter, and after carrying it around all day, it's just really nice to not have your neck breaking. Now, I am a wedding photographer, and I know that you're into fashion, and I don't know what kind of photography you're getting into, but it definitely helps to have a lighter camera. The grip on it, by the way, this is the D750. The grip on it is amazing. In fact, your fingers wrap around it so much that it has a feel that I've never felt before on a Nikon. Now, I've been using the D4, D3S, and D700, and now when you go back to those cameras, I feel like I'm gonna drop them now because the grip is not as tight. Like, this is an awesome grip. I will say that. I do a lot of shooting on the ground or up high and low, so this tilt screen is really nice. The other day I was doing a family shoot, and I have to go like this with that D4, which I just sold. And I have to sit there and I'm looking through it like this and tilting it up and don't really know what I'm getting, but now I can just go like this and shoot it and I'm not breaking my neck. That's cool. You know, when you're shooting your fashion and everything, you want to look at your lenses, because a good lens is going to take you really, really far, even with a crappy camera. And especially if you're doing fashion, you know, you just want a good lens that's going to isolate you from everything else around you so you can focus on the fashion that you're wearing. Let me tell you a little bit about this D750 and what's really appealing to me, and hopefully it's different from what other people have told you. One of the cool things I really like is something called Easy ISO. Now, I've never heard of that before. I had to look it up in the manual. And the Easy ISO, pretty much when you work in aperture and shutter priority, which I love to be in, aperture priority, normally on the D750 to change ISO, you have to come down to this button, click it, hold it in, change your ISO, and it takes some getting used to, but it's not really hard. But Easy ISO is while you're looking in, you change your aperture with this command dial right here. With the other command dial, you change your ISO, and is the exact opposite for shutter priority. Shutter priority, you change your shutter right here, and you change your ISO up here. And it's really cool because you can sit here all day and just turn your dials, and that's one of the best things about Nikon. I don't know how you Canon people have ever made it this far with that big dial in the back, but man, once you go over to Nikon and you try these two dials simultaneously, it's amazing. Another thing that I will use a lot on this camera is Auto ISO. I've never used it before on a D4 or a D700 because they have a tendency to stay at like 2000 ISO for some reason. I don't know why that happens. But this one goes all the way down to 100, all the way up to 8000, whatever you need it to do. And you can also tell the camera what range you want it to stay in. But it actually does a really good job at Auto ISO. And since this camera can do great at 12,800, which I've shot at before with the D4, and it looks great, this one looks better. So I have no problem doing auto ISO on this one. So that's kind of cool. And that's less thinking that you have to do as a photographer, and you can concentrate on the style and the fashion that you're going to be shooting. The shutter is quiet. It's cool. The quiet shutter is not, but you've heard that from everybody else. One thing that I don't like that this camera does not have, and it's driving me crazy, is it doesn't have a PC sync right here. A lot of Nikon cameras have a PC sync, and what that allows you to do, especially if you're new into photography, is these, as you've heard me say before, young newer remotes are really cool. I love them. They're a great way to get into off-camera flash. One of my favorite things to do is to plug this little cord into it and do remote trigger. Never in my life have I found a better remote trigger than young Nuo remotes that plug in through a PC connection. And I believe it's PC connection, I don't really know. But anyways, it doesn't have that connection on this camera. And what that means is that I'm gonna have to not take my own pictures anymore. It's terrible. And I'm gonna have to trust other people to take my pictures. And that's something I need to do anyways. And it's way overdue for me to trust other people. And it's just a control thing that I have. That's all. But anyways, that's going to be very well missed. Now, Nikon does make a remote that is infrared. That does the same thing. And it's like 15 bucks. So, it's not that big of a deal. But that, man, I could be 100 yards away and use that trigger. And it's awesome. Let's see. Like I said, the camera is just a tool for you to use. Being a college student, assuming you are still in college, the D750 is only $2,200. D4 you can get for, you know, about $3,500 now. D4S is going to be about $6,000 and something. The D810 is also around $2,300 itself. The main difference that I'm finding is that D750 is at a great sweet spot with the 24 megapixels. It's awesome. The D810, you know, if you don't have a fast computer that can handle a whole bunch of images, then it's going to overwhelm you sometimes. D750 actually does a really good job at processing imagery at the 24 megapixels. The D4 is at 16 megapixels, so it's a lot less. Battery lasts all day. You could beat the crap out of that camera, and it's going to be your best friend for the rest of your life. It's awesome. And there's nothing you can't put it through. You can stand in the middle of pouring rain, and it'll survive. It's just that good. But the D750, I mean, at $2,200, it's probably Nikon's best camera right now. It's just kind of in a cheap little body, which isn't really that cheap, because all Nikon bodies are pretty good. It's just not as professional as a D4, which comes with like a Kevlar shutter, which is rated at 400,000 clicks. So you could probably put that thing in front of you and stop a bullet. You can't stop a bullet with a D750. But hopefully you never have to be in that situation shooting fashion. Kenneth, I really appreciate the question. I hope I've given you some insight to the D750, D810, and D4. I don't know a whole bunch about the D810. I can't tell you from what my friends have said is that it's quiet. And that's really cool. So, especially for shooting weddings. But if you're going to be out shooting fashion, and I've gone through your blog, and I see that you like to shoot in your neighborhood, around the park, and everything else. It looks really cool, dude. And I wish you the very best in what you're doing. I think a D750 is honestly like the best choice for you. And it also uses the SD cards, which aren't too expensive. And you don't need anything real fast, so you can get a cheapo SD card. In fact, I will link it up here in a second, but there's a D750 on Amazon that comes with like a bag, a tripod, and a 30 gigabyte SD card. Hopefully that deal will last for a little while. I got that one, even though it's kind of a crappy tripod, and I will probably never use the SD card because I have to have fast, professional cards that last what I'm going to put them through. But, you know, if you're just doing fashion, man, that's a great way to go. And it doesn't cost you any extra money. Just $2,300, Amazon. And if you're a Prime member, you get it real fast. So anyways, I hope that helps you out. If you have any questions for me in the future, just email me at joe@joehendricks.com. Anybody else watching, if you have any questions, contact me anyway. Instagram, Facebook, whatever you see me on. and I will try to get back to you. Kenneth, I wish you the very best. I'm going to link up your website so other people can see you. And y'all have a great day. Great day. I'm like Australian all of a sudden. Y'all have a great day. If you have any questions for me, just email me. Bye.